Everybody, it is 6 p.m. We're going to start the September 14th Elk Creek Fire Protection District Board of Directors meeting. And as a call to order, I'll ask everybody to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Newby, lead us today.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. All right, a roll call of members. We have Director Newby and Director Baker and myself that are present. And we have from afar, we have Director Woods, who is dealing with COVID right now. And then we have absent excused Director Devaney. All right. Of my, Sharon, are you on? And you're not on, excuse me, Sharon Woods, you're on? Okay, perfect. So we're going to move to the next item, and that'll be the addition or deletion to the agenda, and then approval. I have one addition underneath financial matters. We're going to add a brief community update. Is any other additions or deletions to the agenda? Nope. Okay, Sharon?
No.
Okay. All right. Then that will take us to the approval of our 2023 August regular meeting minutes. Was there any issues, concerns, or corrections surrounding the minutes from 2023?
The only thing that I think we need to get on there that I thought about after I sent them is I don't think I labeled the appendixes. So they don't have like a label on them.
All right.
So we probably need to add that.
So we could, of course, add appendices to all the attachments that we had related to last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I
Easy
have.
enough. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
All right. Then I ask for a motion to approve the minutes from August 2020. Well, real quick, I'm sorry. Sharon, do you have any additions or deletions? Forgive me as I get used to looking at this owl while I'm talking to you.
It probably looks better than I do right now. No, I have no additions or deletions.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from August.
Motion to approve the minutes from August.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. It's going to be a slight delay. All right, and Director Woods, that brings us to the next item, which is financial matters. We do have your information ready to go, and can you see everything, or do you need anything else before you start your presentation?
No, I don't. And I don't think so. I sent the presentation to Ben and the chief, so somebody has it.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Who's driving?
We did not consider the minutes for the August meeting,
The August special meetings?
special meeting.
The August special
September
meeting.
special meeting.
I'm sorry, September special meeting.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
sent.
They were
They were
sent.
sent.
They were sent in the
And
email.
so they're in
Okay,
the packet.
let's back up real quick. They are in the packet. I did see them, the special meeting minutes. I believe you sent them. Was there,
They just made a-
Sharon, we're going to jump back real quick, out of order. We're going to approve the September
5th.
5th special meeting. And have you had a chance to look at those, Sharon?
Yes, I did. Great,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, perfect. Any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Additions and deletions.
None.
Okay. All right, then I would accept a motion to approve the August 5th special meeting, September 5th special meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the September 5th special meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Okay, now, Director Woods, you are up, and I think we have you queued, ready to go.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to assume that we're on a slide, but I can't really see it.
Okay, we're on overview year-to-date review.
We're on overview year-to-date revenue, is that what you just said, Greg?
Revenue, sorry.
That's okay, no problem. This is gonna be a challenge, but we'll get through it. Okay. Revenue forecast for 2023, 5,387,681. It's on the end of the slide. My right-hand side, I don't know what slide it is, anyway. The forecast for August year-to-date was 4,344,103 versus a forecast, that was the actual revenue, versus a forecast of 4,253,685. So we are slightly above the forecast for revenue. We are at 81% of the year-to-date budget at this point. Contributors to revenue, property taxes are at 3.5 million, and we'll see those in later slides. Ownership taxes are 179,000, which are significantly over forecast. Ambulance transports at 278,000. SURF revenue reimbursement is at 95,000. Lease revenue is at 50,000, pretty much right on target. Interest income revenue is at 167,000. Because of interest rates, that is above the forecasted amount for interest revenue. Next slide. This is an overview of year-to-date expenses. And looking at this, the total expenses for August year-to-date, $3,138,095. This is adjusted for the billing amounts to Intercanyon Fire Protection District for the IGA with them. The budget for this period year-to-date is $3,589,538. So at this point, August is 67% through the year. Overall expenses are about 58% of the year, so we're actually better overall year-to-date expenses. Training was at 48% of their year-to-date budget, administration at 56%, SURF at 36%, capital at 41%, maintenance at 24%, prevention at 66%. EMS, wildland suppression, fire stations, and fire are above their year-to-date budgets. Wildland suppression is a lot due to summer hires that were hired to help with that, and we should see that those coming down a bit in the coming months. Next slide. Year-to-date adjusted net income for August was $1,206,000. Let me know if I'm ahead of the slides, please, because I can't see them.
Right on.
Year-to-date net income for August 2022 was $1,713,000. That's the green line at the top of the graph. The annual budget for net income in 2023 is the $7,271. So we're pretty much tracking along net income as expected. Next slide. Property tax revenue year-to-date came in 67% of our revenue and came in slightly below the forecast year-to-date for property tax. So forecast is total for the year $3,625,336. Year-to-date, we are at $3,474,511 versus a forecast of $3,479,000 and some change. So we're still tracking okay for revenue. Year-to-date, it's slightly under what the forecast would be. So we'll have to see how that goes for the rest of the year. Property tax revenue monthly. I put this slide in because I think it's kind of an amusing slide. I'm sorry, next slide. If we didn't go to the next slide. This is the property tax revenue monthly forecast. And you can see the spikes. And we've talked about the spikes in terms of when property taxes are due. We're at slightly below the forecast for the month. But again, this is, the monthly forecast is kind of odd to look at for property tax revenue. But It's pretty much tracking the way it usually tracks, the up and downs. Next slide. Next, we're going to talk about labor expense. Labor, like property taxes, is most of our expense at Elk Creek, and I would think at most fire departments it would be. It's our biggest expenditure. It's greater than 53% of the total expenses. The annual forecast for this labor number, which again is net and adjusted for the billed amounts to Intercanyon. If you remember, we bill prevention, maintenance, and my brain is foggy, apologies. But we bill certain expenses to Intercanyon. So this slide represents total year-to-date labor adjusted for those expenses that go to Intercanyon, excuse me, for the IGA. Year-to-date labor for August was $1,954,109. And then mute for a second because I have to cough. Hold on. Okay, my apologies. So year-to-date labor adjusted for the amounts billed in Canyon was $1,954,109. You can see that it's slightly above the year-to-date forecast of $1,929,366. So 67% of the year, labor expenses at 68%. Again, there are a lot of hires for temporary workers in the summer to help with prevention. We talked about that. Next slide. Okay, this is labor net, in other words, no SURF. SURF is the labor expenses that are for the out-of-state fires. And you can see that without SURF, again, we are above forecast. Forecast for year-to-date for this labor without SURF was $1,484,330. And we're at $1,696,758. Again, part of that's going to be as a result of the additional labor that is hired in the summer. Next slide. This is SURF. SURF, again, are the wages. These are just the wages and the benefits that go with the wages plus some miscellaneous expenses. I'm sorry, this is just the labor. So SURF is at 257,351, that's actual, versus a forecast of 437,271. So we are under forecast for SURF right now. I don't expect that to continue because there are fires cropping up, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. So, next slide. Okay, this is our SURF reimbursement status. So you can see that the total amount that we have submitted to the state. I'm going to have to sneeze again. Sorry about that. Hang on. Total SURF that we have submitted year to date is the 784,326. In 2022, at this point, and these aren't on the slide, we submitted 783,224. So very similar to 2022 in terms of what we have submitted to the state for reimbursement. So we have reimbursement that's still due of $690,071. So again, they haven't reimbursed us for a tremendous amount. I know those numbers have changed a little bit since I prepared this report, but you can say that it's virtually very similar. So your date reimbursement paid is $94,584. Again, it's about $95,000, and this is the revenue. Excuse me. This is a contributor to the revenue that we talked about in the first slide. Overall submissions forecast is actually $925,000. So SURF August year-to-date operational expenses were $278,285. So that includes not just labor, but other miscellaneous expenses. Average days from submission to reimbursement at the time I prepared this was 26 days. I think that's going to go up considerably because the state seems to have slowed down a bit with their reimbursement. The activity represented by these numbers is 12 fires, 8 in Colorado, 1 in Alaska, 1 in New Mexico that required 2 stints or 2 sessions, whatever you want to call it. 1 in Oregon, again, that required us to be there twice, and 1 in Washington State. I'm sure there's more to come based on what I've been seeing through emails and things. So that's about all I have for expenses. Next slide. As of August 31st, 2023, actual monthly expenses recorded in the Sage Financial Ledger were $522,397. This is the amount that's shown in the board packet. These are all of the expenses that were recorded in August as of August 31st. As most people in accounting know, there are things that come in after the end of the month that refer to the previous month. So I know that there were checks signed tonight. Some of those are August expenses that will eventually be recorded with August dates. So at this point, I would like a motion to approve the Sage Ledger expenses recorded as of August 31st, 2023 of $522,397.
Director Woods is asking for a motion as presented on the board. Anybody be interested in making that motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Sage Ledger expenses recorded of August 31st, 2023 of $522,397.
Second?
Second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that motion carries. Okay. Thank you, Director Woods, especially in light of your situation right now with COVID and all. I know that probably a lot sitting there talking to your screen, but we appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you.
You probably would rather I talk to my screen than to talk to you in person right now.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you again. All right, that will take us to our next item. That'll be a community update by our very own PIO, Bethany Urban. Bethany, if you wouldn't mind, since she can stand anywhere around the aisle, right?
Yeah, if I stand back here, can you see me?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you want me to stand here so you
It
can?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, actually, whatever Sharon, the other Sharon.
What would you like, Sharon? Over this way? Okay. I'll try and not turn my back to too many people. Sharon, can you see me? I just wanted to kind of say a celebratory thanks for everybody today. As you all probably know by now, we had a fallen Marine come through our district this was his hometown. He went to school at Conifer High. That was Major Tobin Toby Lewis. And we found out about his procession coming through our district yesterday, mid-afternoon. So less than 24 hours. In less than 24 hours between Inner Canyon and Elk Creek, we had 17 apparatus, over 30 people. And Evergreen had multiple apparatus and 30 people as well. And I just want to say it was a beautiful, you got the pleasure of driving 285. It was a beautiful moving event. And I'm just so grateful and like really proud of our mountain area fire departments and their teamwork today, because the staff and the volunteers and all the departments came together seamlessly to pull this off in less than 24 hours, and it went off without a hitch. We just posted some photos if you haven't had a chance to see. So I'm just really here to acknowledge staff, cadets, volunteers, all the area fire departments that came together to make this beautiful tribute happen for Major Toby Lewis. So if you're out there, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody here.
And I would like to articulate the same appreciation. I was able to drive by right behind the procession just out of sheer coincidence, and seeing the Elk Creek companies, it was quite moving, and I'm quite proud of the organization that Ms. Urban put together for this, and our fine staff, and it was extraordinary. It was just outstanding, and the community involvement all the way up the canyon. I'm very proud. Thank you very much, Ms. Urban. All right, that will take us to Director Ware's report.
whichever you prefer.
Or Chief Ware, I'm sorry, I'm still kind of caught up.
Definitely not director. All right. So September was a relatively slow month. As wetland season slowly winds down across the west, our precipitation has continued to fall in the district. Some of the numbers over 30 days on some of the Forest Service weather stations, we've had almost 5.5 inches of rain. A lot of records have been broken, which is good. Across the west, it's been one of the slowest seasons since 1998 based on the number of fires as well as the number of acres burned in the U.S. We've continued to have lightning fires within our district, but they haven't presented any sort of containment issues because the fuels have not been receptive. A lot of people have asked, are we, done with fire season? We're not. With all the growth and all the green up that we've had, we still have a tremendous amount of vegetation on the ground. And it's, as long as it remains upright and continues to dry out, we still could have a fire season here. So we're not done with fire season. We're not putting anything away yet. We're just going to kind of wait and see what fall brings. During this month, we actually had Big Chili, so I want to thank everybody for participation in Big Chili. We usually start with the Firefighter Challenge, and we did. So thanks to everybody who helped out on that. Also wanted to talk about our chipping program. Our chipping program has had a bit of discussion here at the board meetings. And our guys are hustling right now. Just some real quick numbers. So in 2022, the program serviced 480 homes, and they did 850 yards of material, which is a pretty significant amount. In 2023, as of today, this number's close. They may have done more, maybe less. They have done 280 addresses for a total of 800 yards of material. And what this essentially means is something's working in the program. A lot of the material getting are the blue mark trees that were actually getting marked during the mitigation assessments, during wildfire prepared assessments that our mitigation specialists are doing. And I think it's also showing that our community ambassador program, the outreach and the community discussion that we're having is actually hitting home, and there are a lot more people doing fire mitigation, which is pretty exciting. On the flip side, it's a tremendous amount of work. Right now they're running 2 trucks and 2 chippers in tandem, because they think they have less than a month and a half left of work to do 150 some odd homes. So it's pretty exciting. We're, again, victims of our own success, and a lot of that is because of our community ambassadors, and I see one of them back there. His planning unit has set the record for material, and they're almost all blue mark trees. So thank you, Al. I think it may have something to do with you. But again, thank you, Al. And it's great that everything's working. So really it's proving that our outreach and our education, our mitigation, everything's coalescing, and this is one of the things that we have to see that our program's working. We also received the certificate evaluation from Jefferson County and Park County. These evaluations are the foundation of our budget process, which is in full swing. While evaluations show an increase of over 30%, Proposition HH has a potential to reduce that increase by half. If you don't know Proposition HH, it's going to be on the November ballot. It's entirely too complex to discuss now. It involves changing the assessment rate and a number of other things. And nobody really knows how it's going to affect us. I've sat in on a number of trainings, videos, all this stuff, and everybody is suggesting that it may do this or it may do something else. Unless you know exactly how it'll work.
Not exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's something that we're going to have to contend with. We're going to be very conservative on our budget. We should have at the next board meeting, we're going to have our draft budget presentation. We're going to be extremely conservative on next year's budget just based on that because we don't know what it's going to look like. Right now we're working on the 2024 budget with all the variables for 2024. It's going to be a very challenging budget, and it should be interesting because we are lucky enough to be creating 3 budgets. There will be a budget for the possible consolidation. There will be a budget for the department retaining their 2.5 mills. And there will be another budget for the department losing 2.5 mills. So we'll have 3 budgets during the budget hearing, so it should be a very entertaining meeting. Operations, we have volunteer firefighters logging 117 hours of staffing at Station 1. We average 3.2 members per call, and again, 23% of our calls overlapped. Average response time is normal, right over 9 minutes. We didn't really have anything remarkable on incidents. We did have a structure fire, didn't want to recognize C-Shift. They made a great stop and held a working structure fire to the room of origin. And they did a very, very aggressive interior attack and actually held it right there. And fairly complicated response time, but we had probationary firefighter Looney and then Mr. Evers on the nozzle, and Lieutenant Hartley and firefighter Moya. They did a tremendous job as well as the first due engine. We had a lot of people show up. We had Evergreen as well as Inner Canyon on the fire. And we have had some lightning strike fires, some lightning caused fires, but again, they haven't been going anywhere. Mutual aid, we only had mutual aid once last month. Transports are remaining about the same. We have total calls, 106 calls. Transports, we had 36 transports. And training, we had 520 hours of training, 521 hours. And we had our fire academies in full swing. We have entered into a partnership with Platte Canyon. They're currently building a brand new burn building that we're working with them. We've actually helped fund some of it, so we're going to be able to have use of it. So we're actually finally going to have a training facility that we can go to for this fire academy, which is pretty exciting. We're not going to have to go down the hill, which usually involves several $1,000s of expenditure every time we go, with a lot of overtime. Now we're going to have one right down the hill, which is going to be great. Anticipated in-service dates hopefully is going to be late fall. Fire prevention, we've had Fire Marshal Rush completed 39 inspections. She wrote 18 letters and county referrals, 2 sprinkler plan reviews, and it is kind of exciting. Fire Marshal Rush has been appointed to the International Fire Code Development Committee for a 2-year term. And that's exciting because we actually can have a say in the way some of the stuff is put together. Whether or not it makes it to the actual code, that's the jury's out on that, but having input is pretty exciting that we have our fire marshals sitting on that committee. Fleet, we have an engine standardization and design committee. They've been stood up and they are creating specifications for a new Type 1 engine completed by the end of the first quarter of 2024. We hope to have it ordered then. Lead times are only getting longer. I don't know what we're going to do with that, but we should have a spec and we should be able to put an order in for one next year.
And hope to get it in 2025?
They're
They're saying a
They
year out now,
are
a couple
saying
years.
30 months.
Yeah.
30 months is a realistic time frame.
Yeah.
The problem is there's going to be a new emission system. DEF is only beginning, the new one, somebody's calling it the bug zapper. It involves a heating element that burns particles as they exit the exhausters. I honestly I have no idea. It's very complicated. But they're gonna have to redesign the actual engine, the motor in these apparatus. The new contraption is large, so they're gonna have to redesign the chassis to go around the new bits. So it's gonna be a lot. That's why all of the existing engines that have the DEF, the Tier 4 compliancy, they're already sold out. You can't get them. So we may be stuck getting the first gen of whatever this new thing is, which I'm a little leery about. But that's what it is. Oh, and we just got the scope of work, and actually, Director Pixley, you have to sign the grant scope of work for that grant we received months ago.
Yeah.
We've got that, and I want to get that handled. Unfortunately, lead times on the ambulances are 24 to 30 months right now. That's what the vendor has told us, and I don't even know what we're going to do with that.
Okay, thank you, Chief Ware. Any questions for the chief?
I had a question. Chief, are we going to be ready next month to talk about impacts of development?
Yeah.
Okay, and anytime you're ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
And again, the reason why we're postponing that conversation is we're
Right.
missing an integral part of the discussion with Director Devaney being gone. So, all right, perfect. Any other questions for the chief? Director Woods? All right. Hearing none, we'll move forward
No,
with...
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Sharon. All right, we're going to move
That's
forward
okay.
with our first public comment sign up. We only have one, and that's Miss Miranda Tucker. Miss Tucker, if maybe over here like where Bethany stood, or over there if you want to sit by the table, wherever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Miranda Tucker. I'm a resident and a neighbor to this station. I had some thank yous that I wanted to dole out. First one being to PIO Urban for organizing our participation in the dignified procession today for Major Toby Lewis. Our community really showed up today, and that was really beautiful. So thank you for that. I want to thank staff and volunteers for their participation at the Patriots Day at Marshdale Elementary on Monday, and that was commemorating the anniversary of 9/11. So thank you, Chief Ware, Fire Marshal Rush, Lieutenant Scott, Lieutenant Devaney, Captain Shine, Firefighter Smith, PIO Urban, Jeff Co-Sheriff, Evergreen Fire Rescue, our local military veterans, and the Lewis family actually were able to join us as well, and that was really special. I want to thank volunteers for their participation at the Big Chili, and thank some of them for allowing me to participate with like the firefighter challenge setup. That was really fun and interesting. Thank you to Lieutenant Thiel, Lieutenant Devaney, Captain Shine, and a shout out to firefighter Brennan and Dumaro for participating in the firefighter challenge. That was really cool. They represented Elk Creek. Thank you to the community ambassadors and the association for working the table as well. I wanted to thank Captain Buckles and Captain Weinfeld for their time and dedication and efforts to the to the Volunteer Firefighter Academy. I've been able to kind of tag along on a few things, and that has been really interesting, really fascinating. And their dedication is just incredible. I wanted to give them some kudos for that as well. I also wanted to thank C-Shift, Lieutenant Hartley, Firefighter Evers, Firefighter Looney, and Firefighter Moya for their quick, decisive action at a structure fire on September 3rd. At 11:18 p.m., Elk Creek was toned in. Their response time was 11 minutes, and they saved that house. That was my friend's house. So when I saw that address on Pulse Point, my heart dropped, my stomach flipped, all at the same time, and I can't describe what that feeling was like. I rushed to the scene to be able to support my friends. And because this house was 1 mile from District Line, Evergreen Fire Rescue was also auto aid toned in as well. Their response time was approximately 30 minutes. That's not a criticism, that is just a fact. Had our staffed volunteers not been able to be so quick with their response time, they would not have saved that house. And to say it's not a criticism of Evergreen, those volunteers got out of their cozy homes and their beds, and they showed up on scene, and it was truly magnificent. There was Inner Canyon, there was Evergreen Fire Rescue, there was Elk Creek, all working together. There was career staff, there were volunteers, and it was awe-inspiring. I've never been on scene. That was my first structure fire. It was pretty truly magnificent and to behold. Some of our volunteers that were on scene, Lieutenant Devaney, Lieutenant Jones, Firefighter Gardner, and from Inner Canyon, Captain Mandel, Captain Buckles, and Chief Sherlaw were also present. It was only by working together that we were able to save my friend's home. We are safer together and we are stronger together, and I want to thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tucker. All right, that's going to take us into old business. We were going to address citizen comments, and really, there's nothing to address. You said it eloquently, unless there's anything that either of you would like to bring up in business. All right, Sharon, Director Woods, anything? All right, that'll
No,
bring us.
I don't.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm on mute because I'm coughing.
All right, and our new business, we had no new business, did we, Chief? I saw nothing in the packet, there were no new motions. I don't have anything to address. Okay. All right, well, that'll take us to our second public comment, which is being grabbed for us right now. And we only have, all right, so we only have one, and that's via Zoom. Is, Flip, are you on?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can. And you are only public comment, and comment away.
I'll try to be brief. I'm sitting here in California representing the department on a fire near Dinsmore. If anybody doesn't know where that is, I didn't either until 2 days ago. I just wanted you to, the public, to be aware that there is information in circulation and that appears to be coming from Elk Creek that I do not believe is coming from Elk Creek with respect to the consolidation program. In particular, there's an organization that has styled itself SaveElkCreek.fire.org. And I caution those listening and paying attention to please read things with care and take things that look too simple with a large grain of salt. I am busy working on this fire, so I cannot comment in writing, but I will when the time is available. So we have work to do, and I hope that that work will also include, as I said last time, a formal public debate. We have two very different visions of what our fire department will become. One is that it remains more or less the way it is. The other is that it consolidates with neighbors and becomes something bigger. I personally, as a volunteer firefighter and resident of Elk Creek, favor the second consolidation solution. We can talk more about that later. I also want to share that in this firefighting business, we do a lot of working together. Amanda just spoke of doing it locally. I am working in California with a team from Nevada, representing the state of Colorado, so, or at least our department in it. So that is part of our tradition, and I too believe that we are much stronger together, and we are frankly better served that way as individual communities as well. So that is it. I'm sorry I didn't do video. I don't think we have bandwidth here in Dinsmore to do that, so it's only audio. And I wish you a good rest of the day. I need to get back to my fire.
All right, thank you very
You all
much.
be safe and take care.
Thank you, Mr. Kratz. All right, and there's no other public comment. So unless there's any issues that either the directors or Director Woods would like to bring forward, I would accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have adjournment at 6:37 p.m. Thank you all for attendance online, and thank you all present here today.
Recording stopped.